You shouldn't have to pay to live. But if we don't change our ways, you will.
Will the richer countries help the poorer countries adapt to the changes that will come in the future because of climate change, when life depends on it? Any questions? Yes?
In what ways do you foresee us paying to live?
We think that climate change will end up making us not be able to go outside or even taking fresh air from outside air at all. So we will need to wear a suit or take a drug to even have air. And those will be expensive probably. And they think that richer countries will help poor countries out by giving them the money and incentives they need to live.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Any more questions? Okay.
Yes.
We have one very quick one. Which one of the exhibits was a stimulus for your thinking around these questions?
I would say
For the big idea it was mainly for the model area.
Yeah.
And the DNA.
6,000 million years kind of gave me a bit of inspiration for it.
Great. Wonderful. Well done.
Franny, we can just show everybody in the background. That's
Thanks,
a
Johnny.
gallery. Anyway, thank you so much. Bravo. Up in the corner, you know, can use it.
So our main question was, does surviving and evolving come at a cost? And like we saw from the first history adaptation exhibit, it was more like how much it was stereotyped that it was either rich or poor and there was no middle, no balance, and how much we got thinking about like how much society now relies on technology to help us get that middle balance, and how much we rely on it for making life, like daily life, easier, and how much we've done from the past to evolve to this point to get to technology. And like with the diseases and stuff from the Inventions and Change exhibit, it was like lots about how as a society we had to evolve from so much death and disease and change from the past. We had to learn from our mistakes, and that comes from a cost that we needed to sacrifice millions of lives to figure out perfect vaccines, day-to-day life choices that we make, that it does come with a cost of life that we have to evolve and change. And from the last exhibition we went to, the River Connections, it was a lot about how much of an impact we've already had on the environment and rivers and such, that can we even go back to how it was, and how much we've already come from, and how much of a imprint that we've had on the environment around us, that it does come with a cost, that we've sacrificed so much of our environment and our lives that we can no longer go back, or we have to pay a cost from day-to-day life.
Yeah, well done.
Any questions to Martin? Yeah, thank you.
So Zoe, you're saying so we would pay a collective price or cost, and when you say we, do you think that everyone would pay that cost equally, or will it affect different groups differently?
Well, I think it would vary, like taxes, to say as much. Like we all pay a different variety of taxes depending on what we do, how we live, our status between rich and poor and middle class. I think it would vary, and definitely depending on where you live and how you live, it will definitely vary whether it pays.
Thank you.
Our
So
group,
big voices and then what do you say?
our group came up with, is extinction our responsibility and should we stop it?
Should we stop extinction?
Yeah,
So you think it's possible?
yeah.
Well, like some extinctions are because other animals kill other animals to survive. But if we stopped, so if we rescued those animals that were getting attacked by predators, is it our responsibility to help those animals that are getting attacked by predators?
And
And what's your hunch there? It is or isn't?
Well, I honestly think this is a question to think about. Because I mean, on one hand, this hand, we should intervene. We should save some animals, like we should rescue them. But on the other hand, also some animals need to feed on those animals to actually survive their lives. And so we might be killing more by saving one species. And maybe if we stop the extinction of one species, those predators might go after more species of animal, which could be a lot worse.
which brings up a question that we thought, is extinction natural? And should we let it happen if it's natural? Or even if it's natural, should we stop it?
So we're suggesting that if it's natural, then we should let it happen. Is that what you think?
Well, yeah.
Well,
Question,
should we let it happen?
if it's natural, or should we not?
We had a question over here. One of you girls had a question. You had a question.
I have a question for your left hand. Your left hand said, we should protect animals and like almost like we have an obligation to protect other on the one hand. So why do you think we should protect animals from extinction somewhere?
That's a very good question. I think the reason we should protect animals is because, I mean, let's have a wolf and a chicken. Let's just say that. We use, as I would say, we use things from a chicken, and the chicken, like a chicken's poop is important for the ecosystem. Like, it fertilizes. But foxes, they need food to survive, and they will go after other things if chickens are not in the path.
That's an argument. We have to move on. We've only got so many minutes for each person. So thank you. And there's lots more to be thought about there too. So Scott College, you're next.
Also, so our main question was that, do our inventions inhibit our ability to adapt to our environment? So basically, like, do the things we invent, like all the things that are man-made, does that change the way we've evolved as a society over like millions of years?
Did you get somewhere with that?
Yeah, we got from like an exhibit where it's talking about like how life was like 600 million years ago, like long before so many things like this have existed. So like how evolution and society is so much more different, and like how like today how it's much more sophisticated.
You say that we've been looking after weak genes, letting weak genes get through the evolution that we have got through technology and all the inventions. has allowed weaker genes to get through the system?
Well, I think that as could you repeat that?
But so as we evolve, because we've been allowed to evolve with the help of technology, would our be stronger? Would our bodies be stronger? Would we be if we didn't have all of that technology? I guess.
Well, I think like from a society sort of perspective, I think things like inventions and things like as a society we've come such a long way from how we were originally. So I think maybe not our like physical bodies per se, but sort of like how we function as a society with sophistication. That's definitely come a long way with these inventions. It's changed how we've evolved as like a civilization.
Have we inhibited ourselves at all?
Well, I think ourselves, like our actual bodies per se, maybe not, but more than that, I think the way we carry out what we do from day to day, and I think the way we function together, I think it definitely has. Any more questions?
That's a challenge for us to think about.
So we've got a couple of questions, and they're all. We've got a couple of questions, and they all relate to the same type of thing. But the first question is: are we able to learn and evolve from probability based, and if so, how far will it take us?
Most people believe that back in the day, people were all religious and had less rights. But now we think that everyone should have freedom of speech and everyone needs to evolve and people speak their minds.
Can you put those two ideas together? Can you show the connection between those two things?
Well, because with that, because in the old days it was very, you follow this path, you do that, but as we've learned from that, now we can all have our own opinion, and we have our right to do like our own sort of thing.
So you're thinking that there's an evolution from religious thinking to free thinking. Is that
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the kind of evolution.
Yeah. And for our last question, this is based mainly on evolution and all the types, like with physical, economic, and technological. Could we use all of those three evolutionary stages to help us progress through and to get us even further and possibly more quickly?
So there's a whole array of strengths you're identifying. So that's useful to me. Any questions to the group?
Yeah.
You think problem? For the second question, is it that religion is the problem, or is it how
Well, it's more so how there's like kind of like a fear factor in there as well, because back in those times it was like you follow your religion that you're born into, or there are things like that.
Sorry. One that's just going to cost you now. Sorry, and then Lloyd Street, we're here for you. Don't take any notice of them. Okay, good. So, everybody come and meet closer to listen to Lord Street. Come on.
Thank you, Jeanette. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Someone wants to come on. We're looking forward to it. So, I'll ask you, Lord Street.
Connecting to the in the future, will there be any new issues or problems that will present to the human that will make it necessary for us to adapt and evolve?
Did you imagine any?
I couldn't really think of any because we've evolved and we've progressed in such a way that there isn't too many like changes that have like hurt a lot of people, or like COVID, for example, that affected us. But say it happened 100 years ago, it probably would have been a lot worse than it was now.
But you're identifying the issue, like the main, what you thought is the main issue facing humans now, which was.
Oh yeah.
So then you're asking what will the people do beyond that. Is that what the question is asking?
Yeah.
Will there be a new challenge for humans?
Yeah.
What about the idea? Do you think rather than evolution, like we're going to grow gills or those kind of like imaginary scenarios? What about our emotional or our kind of moral elements? Should we evolve?
Sorry.
It's a big question.
Yeah.
Because the other group was suggesting that freedom of thought was more morally aggressive than religious activity.
Yeah.
I think that was something that was
Freedom kind of a lot.
interesting.
Yeah.
So, and the human capacity to imagine things other than what they are.
I feel like an emotional thing could be being more open-minded, being open to new ideas and new perspectives, because there's still discrimination and like against religions and against race, and being more open-minded to listen to others' ideas and beliefs would be a big progression.
Any more questions? That'll keep us thinking anyway.